Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back for another video. In this video, it's a pretty short video. I'm just really going to show you how I clean my airbrush. So this is one of those things. This is really obviously designed for beginners. This is how I clean my airbrush. There's a million different ways of doing it. I'm not necessarily saying this is the right way of doing it, but this is how I clean the airbrush. So I'm not going to do a full field strip and show you how to break it all down, but I am going, which I don't do very often. Let's have a problem, but I'm just going to show you kind of between color changes and kind of at the end of the session how I clean an airbrush. It seems pretty straightforward, but when I got into the hobby a few years back, this is something I really struggled to find information on, and for the forums and stuff, just basic stuff like this. So I thought maybe hopefully this helps some people, and maybe if you have been spraying for a while, maybe you pick up a few tips as well, hopefully. So I did do a video I just posted, which goes through my whole setup, talks about my airbrushes, my equipment, what I use. If you want to see that, just check my other videos and scroll back and you'll see that one. So just a quick reminder, if you didn't see that video, my airbrush of choice, which I use 99% of the time, is a Mr. Hobby Pro Comboy, and it's a PS289 with a 0.3 needle. I just love this airbrush. I can throw anything through it, lacquers, enamels, thinners, you name it, and it just sprays it. It's a workhorse. It's a fantastic bit of equipment. Those who don't know, these Pro Comboys actually iWater airbrushes. All intents and purposes, they're made in iWater factory under license. They have iWater parts. Some of the parts are interchangeable with iWater. iWater quality, obviously, but a lot cheaper price points. It has Mr. Hobby stamped on the side instead of iWater, and it comes at about half the price. So if you think about buying an iWater airbrush, I highly recommend looking at the Pro Comboy range because they're fantastic and just as good quality. So let me switch the camera back behind me and let's kind of get into the video, and I'll start showing you kind of a little bit about my technique of how I clean an airbrush. Okay, so now I'll switch the camera back to the booth. You see I just quickly sprayed some paint. You can see it's in there. Just bog standard Tamiya XF paint. This happens to be green. One thing is I noticed if black and white have really strong pigments. So yellow, I think yellow has more strongest color in the color range or whatever, I think. But those paints in particular are a lot harder to clean. If I spray white or black, it always takes a lot more to clean it to get it out than other colors for some reason. But I think it's just because it's more pigment in there. So anyway, so I just sprayed the paint and it's empty. So how do I clean my airbrush? Okay, well, pretty simple. Well, here's what I do. I always like to use the thinner for my paint, so to clean my brush as well as thinning the paint. So this is, like I say, I just showed you, this is Tamiya paint, XF paint, and this complements with X20A thinner. So as I use this paint, I'll use this thinner. Which, what I've done is I've just kind of decanted it into a bottle like this. These are a little bit, I see my other videos, these are a little bit unwieldy to kind of pour it out, whereas these old Vallejo bottles are really kind of good control. You only get a couple of drops out. So yeah, so these are really cool. So I just label them. See Tamiya. I have one for IPA and other stuff. One thing I'm going to use Tamiya, but before I do that, IPA, that for anything acrylic or lacquer, most things, if the paint's still wet, this works fantastically well to start cleaning an airbrush. You don't need to waste money on thinners. You can normally get a big bottle for $2, but the way the hold is right now with COVID-19, it's actually a main ingredient of hand sanitizer, IPA, and you can't find it anywhere, and if you do, it's really expensive. So now thinness is cheaper, but when things are back to normal, like if you get some IPA, 99% IPA, it works great for cleaning airbrushes and cheap. So anyway, so I'm going to use, it's kind of confusing because I changed the bottle, but I'm basically using the X20A, which I said to put in this bottle. So all you need to do is just add a couple of drops. Then I have a paintbrush, an old paintbrush, nothing expensive. I actually just have a set like this, like from like 99 cents from Michael's or somewhere like that, maybe a couple of bucks. It's real cheap, just kids' paintbrushes. And these last a couple of months for me, and I throw them away and I get a new one. But I usually use them purely for cleaning airbrushes. Now these actually ones work really good. Some, you have to be careful. Some super cheap ones, all the end of the brush hairs come out, and that's just a nightmare. If you get that in your airbrush, it's a pain to get out. But and these are actually pretty good. So I put a little bit of thinners in there. All you can do is just going to wipe it, clean the side, the bottom a little bit, and blow it out. And I'm going to add a little bit more. This time I'm going to use a paper towel. I think I mentioned this in another video, but what I do is I get sheets of paper towel and I just cut them down with a pair of scissors to little pieces. They just go a lot longer. I don't need a giant sheet for cleaning an airbrush. This piece would be more than enough. So what I do is a little bit thinner still in there. Just clean the side and the outside. And blow that out again. Then take the needle out. And it still has the thinner on it from when I rub the inside, and I just wipe the airbrush, the needle clean very carefully towards the end so you don't bend the needle. And that cleans the needle. Put that down, then a couple more drops. I'm literally just putting a drop or two, so it's not like I'm using a ton of thinner. And I'm just going to spray it again. And that's pretty much clean. So if I was doing color change, that's probably clean to another color change. A lot of people just throw the paint back in on top of it and go again. I find that kind of mixes the color and changes the color slightly. So rather than just blowing it through, I'd rather just clean like this and go for another color. If I'm going to go done from the session, and I always like the actual real airbrush. I know I've been using the other bottles, but this is a real airbrush cleaner from Vallejo. Has some kind of like soapy kind of stuff in it, and just helps the seals and stuff. So at the end of the day or whatever, I just give it like another couple of squirts. And empty it out. What I might do sometimes, actually what I might do is I might just leave a little bit in there, get any dry paint overnight, whatever, but that's it. I mean, the airbrush is fully clean. You don't need to field strip these guys. This is a Procon airbrush. It's fully clean. When I'm done with my cleaning too, or done my session, I don't ever leave the needle right in case it sticks. I always loosen the nut and pull it out. You should really take the airbrush out completely when you're not spraying. But I normally just leave it kind of just in a little bit, just away from the seals, just so I don't lose it basically. So I'll leave my airbrush like that. And just, that's it, we're all done. That's easy as that. One other thing to note is this guy, which is needle juice. You can always get super lube, I think it is, from my iWater and other various types. It's basically a food grade lubricant. Now and again, what I do is I'll just take my needle, put a tiny little drop on it, and this thing will last literally years. And just my fingers, I just rub it up and down the needle slightly. And then it's there you go. It just what that does is it just literally just lubricates the seals and keeps them from cracking and stuff. I don't do that every day, maybe once a week, once every few days or so. I just do that. But again, I'll just pull the needle out slightly, put it away, and we're done. So that's easy as that. So wait, I'm back with a quick edit. I totally forgot one thing on cleaning the airbrush. Just kind of pulling the nozzle itself. So generally, if you get it like I did, clean right away off the paint's not dried, it'll come out right, no problem at all. But if not, when I drop some cleaner in here, when I wipe it out, if you just dip a Q-tip in here, and all you do is just go into the nozzle, give it a quick turn, and 99% of the time that will clean your nozzle out for you, depending what kind of nozzle you have. Use a good quality Q-tip, like a Johnson & Johnson's baby one, so you don't have a bunch of lint and stuff. That's no good. Get lint. Simple as that. Another thing to note is make sure obviously your needle is retracted or fully out or retracted, and so you're not damaging the needle. Like I say, just with some thinners on to the cup, just give it a quick wipe, and it will pull off all the dirt and clean nozzle. And that's it. So forgot about that, but hope you guys found that video good. Found a few tips there and found it interesting. Any questions, as always, please put them in the comments below, and I'm happy to help. Until next time, have a good one, and ta-ra.